What it is. Product reviews all day here, folks. Keeping it tight and keeping it right on a Thursday. Just crushing it. What's that movie where the dude's like doing a job interview, and then the guy who's doing the interview, he's got the guy's resume, and he's like, why don't you tell me about from 03 to 05 here when you were crushing it? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm crushing it, as always. And we have a clone here. This is a clone. This is not, I repeat, this is not a real Kershaw. I'm not trying to pretend it is a real Kershaw. I bought this off of DHGate for about 40 bucks. This is a Kershaw Livewire Clone. I have never held a real Kershaw Livewire. I cannot compare this to an actual Kershaw Livewire. What I can tell you is that for $40, and I own many OTFs, I own a clone Microtech Halo, I own a clone Ultratech, I own a Tecto OTF out of Portland, Maine. I own the original Lightning. Anybody who's into OTFs, about 10-12 years ago on Blade HQ, you could buy these OTFs. They were called the Lightning. God, they must have sold millions of those Lightnings. So I've got a Lightning. You know, I've got, I don't know, five or so OTFs to compare this to. And I can just say that this thing's unreal. Oh, I've also got a Fat Dragon, Nemo Knives Fat Dragon OTF, which I really like as well. But so this is a Kershaw Livewire. This is the Kershaw Livewire Clone. Very lightweight, very slim, very, very slim. That's the benefit of having an OTF where your trigger is on the top as opposed to on the side like this. I feel like if it's up on the top like this and you can kind of incorporate it into that profile rather than having to have the mechanism in the meat of the handle with the button and all that stuff, I just feel like that thickens up the knife. So I love the thinness of this. I love the low profile pocket clip, and I love that it does not have a glass breaker on it. I'm not a huge fan of glass breakers on OTFs. I don't like the way it sticks up out of your pocket and it makes the knife unnecessarily long, in my opinion. This knife is very, very, the size on this thing is unreal. I am a larger guy, about 6'3", 240. So I do have big hands, but even in my, almost 10-inch hands, this thing is, I can almost completely conceal it. I can almost completely hide that thing in my hands. I can't do that with a Halo. I can't do that with my Tecto. I can't do that with, a Combat Tridoon or Tridoon. Those knives are massive knives, like almost like bricks in your hands. This is very slim, very low profile. The action on it is unbelievable. I mean, I've never had a misfire. I've never had a misfire with this thing. Never once. Like I said, not a real Kershaw. This is a clone. I think maybe other than the belt clip, I think Kershaw prints their name a little bit differently on the belt clip, but other than the belt clip, I was looking online, I can't really see a difference in the clone and the real thing. For 40 bucks, you can't beat this knife. You just honestly, it feels very high quality. It's very tight. I must have fired this thing at least 1,000 times, and there's absolutely no wiggle. Like, these screws haven't started to loosen up or anything over time. It's still very tight, very snug. Everything's lined up very well. Like I said, I just cannot get over how much I love the way this thing feels in my hand. The way it has that little slot right there cut out just for your index finger with that, some jimping in there. And then the way that it also has kind of a curve for those two fingers, then some jimping on the back here for your pinky to grip onto, some more jimping here and here. It's just a very well thought out design. Kudos to Kershaw for that. Definitely not the company that cloned it. All they did was copy it, right? But maybe you have some moral aversion to buying clone knives. I don't. I consider myself a global citizen, and if I can get a screaming hot deal on something, then I'm all over it. You know, I'm all over it. I'll buy real knives, genuine knives, authentic knives. You know, I have dozens of authentic knives. I also have probably a dozen clones. You know, if it's available, if it's available for sale, I'm probably going to buy it. That's that's just keeping it real and keeping it honest. But I can't recommend this little clone enough. If you happen to be somebody who likes to peruse DHGate or AliExpress, and you like to, you know, pick up these types of items on those websites like DHGate and AliExpress, you cannot go wrong with this thing. Thin, lightweight, low profile in the pocket, very relatively small for an OTF knife. An absolutely awesome blade design with just that. It's almost like a dagger design, but only the one side is sharpened. But it still kind of has that dagger design. Just an absolutely like a thief in the night. That's kind of what that knife reminds me of. You know, like in Assassin's Creed. Remember that in Assassin's Creed when you're like walking and you can like arm your weapon. I used to sit there in Assassin's Creed and just whip out my weapon, put it back, whip out my weapon, put it back. Can't even tell you how many times I did that in Assassin's Creed. That's what that little blade reminds me of. Just a beautiful blade design. Gorgeous knife for $40. Kershaw Livewire Clone. Don't sleep on it. You know, just never had a misfire. Stunning knife. Yeah, if you like to purchase knives and other items off DHGate, you can't go wrong with this. $40. Kershaw Livewire Clone, OTF, double action knife. Just unreal for the price. Product reviews all day. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Peace.